We are going to take you through the shortcut method, and this looks like a lot, but this part right here should look familiar. This was the very end of the last method, the last video we did. So we just wanted to show you how this compares to our next method and where we're getting it. So the first step, and this time we don't do any drawing. We simply just solve it straight out. Now we have it broken down step by step by step. What you'll probably end up with is what the end of step 6 becomes, is what you'll end up, your paper will look like when you do this. You won't actually have to draw out 6 different problems.
Right.
So we wanted you to see how we got to each step. So the first step, we are going to be multiplying our ones spot. So we look at our top number, 67, and we're multiplying it by the 3 in our 43. So if you look over here, 67 times 3. We did this. We did this in the last one. So we're going to go through it again. So 3 times 7 is 21. So we have our 2 and then our 1. So the 2 is in the tens because of 21, 2 tens. Then we move from our ones and we multiply it by our tens place. So 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 more is, whoa, what happened to it?
Oh, there it is.
Step 2. My goodness, I thought that was all part of step 1. We really broke it down for you. Okay, so 7 times 3 was 21, and then 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 more is 20, so we got 201. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3 now, so this is, building upon what you did already. We are now going to look over to our next side, and since we're going on to our tens place, we are going to mark our spot with a 0. Just as our placeholder. So before we did that at the end, because we were multiplying by 40, this time we're just going to do it beforehand, so we make sure we put it all in the right spot. So again, I just sort of copied that over. So step 4 was using that placeholder. Step 5 is now to multiply. So 7 times 4 is 28. My tens times my ones. So my new group of 2, and then my 8 goes down here. So that's my 28. And again, moving over, and what I'm guessing you might end up doing with the next one where you have to pause is you'll probably put it all in step 1. For now, just sort of go through the process so you get an idea of what you have to do each time. So then we've got our next step. We multiply 6 times 4 is 24. We add that 2 that was left over up here, and we end up with 26. And then our final step is we add those 2 together. So I want to take a second and show you, this was our last step 6 that we just had on your paper. And this is the thing from the last video, same problem, 43 times 67. And I want you to see how these compare. So if you look at 201, that's down here. So that's 67 times 3, and then the 67 times 40, 2,680, 2,680. So essentially you're doing the same thing. You're just taking out having to break that down. And then you add them together just like we did in this. So in both of them, you multiply the entire top number by each place value. So by the tens and by the ones. All right. Now they get to pause and try it.
Yes. So now looking back at your notes, you can use that to help you. But you are going to take a moment. And what we were just saying before, in your notes too, it's broken down into the 6 steps. You do what works best for you, but just remember, you want to think about what you're doing for each of those steps so you don't forget anything.
Right. What's important is that we see the whole process is down there.
Exactly. So pause and try, and we'll go. Think about how we're multiplying in the ones place value. 2 times 8 is 16, so we're going to carry our 1 over, and we should have a 6 now. That's step 1. Now, step 2, we're going to build from that, and then we are going to multiply in our ones place, go over to our tens place. So 2 times 1 is 2, and add our 1, so we now get a 3 there. So basically 18 times 2 equals 36. Then we're building off of this now, and now we're going to look at our 7, which is in our tens place value.
I think it's a placeholder 1 first.
Oh yes, so since we are multiplying in our tens, we're going to add our 0. And then we get to start thinking about multiplying. And 7 times 8 is 56, so we should have a little 5 up here now and a 6 down here. And then we're multiplying in our tens here. So 7 times 1 is 7, and then we got to add this little 5 up here, and we get 12. Oh, there it is. Yes, and we get 12. Sometimes we're so tempted just to merge them all together. So anyway, now we have our 36 and our 1,260, and of course we just got to add those two numbers up, and you should have gotten 1,296.
So again, step 6 is what we're going to end up really looking for. That's probably what your paper will look like. You're not going to actually put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll have it all. You'll just go through the whole steps.
And I think what's really important too, especially with these first couple that you're trying, is really looking to see, like, okay, if I get the wrong answer, is it just a silly, like, little calculation error, or am I getting mixed up on a step? Right. So that's something to really look carefully at, is, do you have 36 here?
Right.
Do you have 1,260
A common
here?
mistake that I've seen kids make is if we go back to, like, step 2 even. 8 times 2 is 16, and they know that, but they put a 6 here and a 1 here. So again, think of the number 16. 1 is in the tens place, 6 is in the ones place, so your 1 is in the tens place, your 6 is in the ones place. So don't flip them up, otherwise it would have been 61, and you would get a very, very different answer.
Yes. Yeah.
So be careful with those.
All right, so of course you are going to have a chance to try 2 on your own. And once again, you should be very used to this little packet here. On the back side, there's space, basically, for them here. Now, one thing I just wanted to say, though, is I think earlier on we were talking about when we were adding really large numbers and subtracting really large numbers, sometimes that lined paper is helpful for columns. If that's helpful this time around, too, you can always do that. But take a moment to try these, and then, of course, there's space here, too, for your guiding questions.
Yep, this is the end of this whole Learning Goal 3, so now's the time we get to answer your guiding questions.
Good luck.